Okay, cool. I'm trying to do different things, mix it up a little bit. Lately, I've been enjoying myself more on the MacBook, utilizing Ableton. And so I showed this on the iPad, I think previously, about percussive stuff. And I thought it'd be fun to do it on the place where I originally started, which was learning it on Ableton. So I'm gonna zoom in just a hair bit on there. So the way I do this is I set up a MIDI track with a drum rack. In this case, I'm going to use 3 shakers. So there's, wait, let me turn it up so you can hear it. I mean, I got to unmute the track. That might be good, right? Let me turn it up some more so you can hear it. So these are out of a kit, a coupe kit, drum kit, and they are kind of already dirty, which is fine with me. I'm not complaining. And so I put those 3 in. They're basically the same shaker, but played a little bit differently. And so what I'm doing is, if you see here, I'm fading using the fade out. If you're on anything else, you might use the release button, perhaps. And it might be able to release to put a fade on that. So that, or whatever your device you're on. Same principle, you make a MIDI track. Now I did this at 1 bar initially, and then just all you have to do is just put it at 1 bar and then put it the whole bar, right? All 3. So you'll see here if I turn on this. Okay. Then set your tempo for whatever you want it to be. I have mine at 120, so I'm just gonna leave it at 120. And then you're gonna have it there, and then you're gonna link. In Ableton, you just drop this down here, and then you set it for the drum rack, right? And that means that whatever comes off of this is gonna play in there, and I'm just basically recording in the sound. So let's talk about what else to do. So you set up the drum rack, set your stuff how you want it. You don't have to even use the fades if you don't need it. Then you add an arpeggiator, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is in the MIDI effects. So if you, let's zoom out just a little bit. There you go. So the MIDI effects over here, there's the first thing is arpeggiator, just drag one down, drop it in. And you're going to, this is how I'm doing it. You can do whatever you want, but turn on the velocity. Then you're going to turn the repeats. You don't have to turn the repeats on. I do. I set the gate where I want it to be, and the rate is the key, and the random. So in here you have all these different options what you can do. I pick random because I want it to be random. So I want it to randomly pick between these 3 shakers. I set the groove as a swing 32, but you can set it 16. Leave the sync on. And then you want to, you don't have to do this. I did the offset at -1. You can set it wherever you want. You can leave it on 0 if you want it. I put it at -1. And then that's it. And then basically if you play it, I'm gonna mute the one I did. But if you just play it, it's gonna just randomly, if you look down here, it's randomly picking. Pop in you're hearing is basically because it has like a vinyl effect on it. So if you don't want that initial click, you might just put a little fade in on it. I actually like that pop, and it doesn't bother me, but let's fade this one in a little bit. So you can use clean samples if you want. Whatever the case may be, I made multiple copies of that. I just duplicated and then glued them together by using Command J. Just highlight them and then glue it together, right? And then after I glued it together, so initially it was like this. Here, I'll show you. It was just 1 bar. All I did was Control D, 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 like that. Then made 4 copies, hit Control J, and that glues those 4 together. So now you have 4, right? And then I just recorded them into an audio track. And then when I did that, this is what I came out with. Here's my random. I'll let you look at it. So I'm going to consolidate that because I can see already it's not consolidated. There you go. Then if you want to adjust something, adjust it. But I offset the notes a little bit so they wouldn't be perfectly on. So it'll be a little late. You could do, as far as I remember, right, you can do it here too. You can drop that down to 0. Yeah, and then so let's say you created at 120, but you kind of want it to be a little bit slower or whatever you want, then just warp it to where you want it. So obviously if you warp to 60, it's going to be, you don't have, in fact, you could do this like, put this back at 120. You don't have to drag, you can drag it to whatever tempo you want, or just hit divided by 2 and it'll do that. But see, your tempo is still playing at 120. So you got to change this to whatever it is if you want to do it that way. So let's go to, I want my tempo to be playing at right around 78. Multiply. It's cool, this feature, because you can like, you can do all kinds of twisted stuff with this BPM, messing around with the BPM to get it. Change the gain if you want. So then hit duplicate. Now you got 2, join them together. So it's not a perfect sounding loop. I'm gonna take off what I did, go back to where it was originally. So I'm using Command Z to get it back to where it was, by the way. There you go. So here's the original part here. So you can go in and, of course, if you've used Ableton, you know you can warp them to wherever you want them. That's fine. I'm not really like trying to make a perfect loop. It was just, I mean, not a perfect loop, I'm sorry. A perfect sound. It's just, I want it to sound as natural as possible. So there you go. So that's the basis of this video. Not going to spend much more time on it. I did it in the other, you can pretty much do it in any, just about anything can do it. As long as you have something that can do some type of randomizing, or in this case, I use the arpeggiator to do the random. And that's it. So hopefully that helps to see how to do it on the Mac. You could do it probably in Logic just the same. I'm sure Logic, I haven't used Logic in a minute though, so I can't remember if they have a randomizer or if they have the arpeggiator that allows you to do something similar. But either way, really fun way to create percussive loops. Recently, what is Coco's, man, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he's in the Discord. Anyway, he introduced a website that looks like, one second, like this. It's called experiments.withgoogle.com AI drum machine. Some type of infinite drum machine. What's cool about it is it has this little, right? And then you can randomly pick different, or drag it and pick different sounds. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Now it's really loud. So then it'll create. And you can adjust these if you want to, or the tempo. Or if you just want to. It's pretty cool. I actually think if you just want some randomized stuff. So check that out too. The Infinite Drum Machine is what I think it's called. So you might look it up that way and then it'll get you to the website. And it's just a web-based thing. So one of the things that would be cool if they do add is it'd be nice to know what is that tempo. Like I have no clue what this tempo is. This is the little metronome, which is neat. But yeah, if we could get like a, what is that tempo thing on there, that'd be cool. The Infinite Drum Machine. I think this is great. I think they should bring something like this to not only iOS, but to desktop as a plugin. Even if they just charge like something cheap for it, it'd be nice because this is the free version, but it'd be nice to be able to export whatever loop you make. So yeah. Anyway, very cool. That's it for this video. I'm all about trying to figure out ways to get like different percussive things without having to spend, you know, so much time trying to put it together. But otherwise, everything else, yeah, just hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you think. If you know some other cool things, please do share. That'd be cool. All right, I'm out.